4. This is one more, please. Hello, and welcome to Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
Episodio 46.
46.
How are you, Coque?
I'm great, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here on this beautiful Sunday. We got a very, very special guest.
Dude, so if you guys have gone to an Austin FC game, and before the game, there's a heartbeat. In the heartbeat, there's a celebrity. But however, behind that bombo, that celebrities, doing the listos, verdes, there's just one talented musician that runs pretty much, I would say, keeps the beat going, as not just in that moment, but also whenever La Murga is playing in the stadium or in practice. Without any further ado, this guy right here is an awesome musician. Not because you're here, because I've heard you play before, and I did a little bit of music in the past, so it makes me want to go back and play the guitar again. Any further ado, our guest today is Kurt Lammers.
Yeah.
How you doing, Kurt? There you go.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, man.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
It was a perfect day, so yeah, thank y'all.
Man, before anything, I just want to say thank you for joining us. I know you've been pretty busy. You had 2 gigs this weekend, and you also had to go drum lead at the game at Austin Beer Works, and then come over here. So, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thrilled to be here, y'all.
Hey,
So,
thank you.
Wonderful into the weekend.
All right. It's been a rough week. Last week was a very rough week, and we're starting to kind of simmer down the emotions of what
Starting
has
to become
happened.
a little bit more real.
More real and more like soccer based, and hopefully it continues more soccer based, and we learn from anything that's happened in the past week or so. Kurt, before we get started into the whole Murga thing and everything that has to do with the playlist and the album and your music, can you let us know where you're originally from, and when did you learn about soccer, or when was your first experience with soccer?
Yeah. Well, I had born in West Texas, but grew up in North Dallas area, I think my first soccer experience was playing for the Shooting Stars, a basically participation ribbon soccer team. I think I was 6. My mom coached us. We weren't great, but again, we were 6. So, but that was might have been my last physical time on the pitch, enjoying it. And then I got really into. After that, into music and into learning and, doing piano, doing drums when I was 5 and 6, and just kind of continuing on with that in my life. My dad was actually the trainer for the Dallas Sidekicks, which was our indoor soccer team. And fortunately, Verde and white. So I actually have a Dallas Sidekicks pin on my vest.
Yes.
But it's, again, still Verde. So yeah.
There you go.
Anyone that walks up, huh? But which I've heard they've returned. But so he was the trainer, and we got to go over to the players' houses and hang. And I mean, they're indoor soccer teams, so they weren't the Mavericks at the time, or the Rangers or Cowboys or something like that, especially mid-90s. So but it was really, really cool. And again, that was far different from what we get to go see on the weekends.
Of course.
With Austin FC. And then when I was 14, my dad was working in a hospital, and this woman was on holiday, and my dad goes, "You should go do your British accent for her. She's from London." Now, I'm 14 and a ham, so I absolutely obliged, not even thinking about it. Later on, I cringe about this moment because of this poor woman who got sick on holiday, is stuck in Dallas, Texas. I'm so sorry. I don't remember her name, so I hope you're all right. But, oh, my God. So I went in there. I'm not going to do the British accent right now, but I went in there and did the thing where she's like, "Oh," she goes, "You sound like you're a Chelsea boy." line them down. I was like, okay. She goes, they have a really good football team. You should watch them. I go, okay. And then that started me being a Chelsea fan. I didn't know anything about them. I didn't, and I was just like, oh, kind of following them. You know, we don't get as much games and stuff like that in town. So, or in the States. So, but that was more where I was watching it. I, catch the occasional Dallas Burn match, but never really. FC Dallas just wasn't really my team. It just never really spoke to me. And again, it's Frisco, which I didn't grow up.
Pun intended.
That was 35 minutes north of where I grew up. So I was like, man, I'm not driving all the way up there. Now there's more stuff there, but there wasn't back then. So I didn't really participate in that sort of fandom, but it was really just Premier League, and that kind of got me into it, and that's 100% how I found my way to La Murga, or the start of La Murga.
Definitely an interesting journey. I find it very peculiar. You grew up in the 90s in Dallas, a city with very, very big teams. Like Dallas Cowboys, Mavericks. But you had an inclination towards the game of football.
Yeah.
And just your story of hearing how you became a Chelsea fan is
it did annoy some people, and I get
that. No.
But I mean, like, it's so, I don't know.
The thing is, people who watch the Premier and these Spanish leagues, like, we didn't grow up in these cities. The reason we root for these teams is different for each and every one of us. So it's cool that you ran into that British lady and she said you sound like a Chelsea boy.
And again, it had to be an atrocious accent. And let's be real. Let's go with. I was 14. I'm pretty sure Austin Powers was really hot at the time, so it was really, really just. I still very much cringe about that moment, but I try not to.
I mean, if you don't look back and cringe at certain things in your life, that means you haven't grown. So
that's true. I mean, I'm just like, oh. I just hope she got well, and I just hope I didn't make it worse. They bring puppies so people get better, and they brought me, and that was the wrong choice. So
now that we know a little bit about your interest in the game of football, tell us a little bit more about music. Why music? What sparked your curiosity? What grew your passion for this?
Oh man, music comes down to my parents, my grandparents. I mean, there was always music on, all the time, and either both my parents. Weren't musicians themselves, but they were big fans. There was always, tons of stuff being played in the house. We had like a record player that I would kind of dive into their vinyl and stuff like that, and just really, really loved it. Of course, when we were in the van, it was only Celine Dion for Mom, but and Reba McEntire. I'll get a text about that.
Those were the go-tos.
Just those two.
The road trip playlist, you had them all memorized?
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, it was albums, cover to cover. She was like, we got time.
I think for me, it was Luis Miguel.
Luis Miguel.
Yeah, but...
Yeah.
El Sol de Mexico. Wherever you're at, shout out.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Well, and so that sparked the interest, but I mean, my mom enrolled me in piano when I was 5. I couldn't tell you if I had interest at the time, but I think that she wanted me to do it. And then, it just sparked into then learning drums and percussion into junior high and high school, and then further on to college. But I've always played in bands. I've grew up in the church and played in the church bands. Someone let me noodle around on an organ, and then I swear they could not get me off that thing. Because I was like, oh, I can play, Whiter Shade of Pale, or I can play, Green Onions, just like all those like 60s secular music. And they were like, no! And I was like, that might not be my place. Because, if you can't play Booker T, like, what's wrong with you? Anyways, so, that kept me going. And then, high school, renting out a studio space so you can record your album, which is so good. It's so bad. And that, like, just kept me going. And I just kept learning about recording. I kept learning about production. And I took any job that would be in music. If it was a stagehand, if it was rolling cables, if it was, getting coffee. Like, I've done the PA gig. I've done the monitor gig. I've done all that stuff. And so it just kept me in the business. But I absolutely just love performing. And I've now realized in the last 3 years a greater thing, which is La Murga. I mean, really okay, last Saturday, and this was, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. What was the last match? Or not, the last match was Real
Against
Salt Lake.
LAXC? I mean, Galaxy, sorry.
Galaxy.
LAXC.
And there were moments where we thought we were going to come back, but when we debuted Pepas for the first time, and we cut out, and I hear people singing. This is the first time we've played this thing, and yeah, it's a popular song, and a lot of people know it, and that's why. And it's the Players, apparently one of their favorite songs, so that's why we got it in the set.
Of course.
But man, that feeling of, let's say 3,000 in the south end, but then when you start to see the whole crowd join in, especially like Dolly ATX, and all the clapping, and kids are like trying to jump, to clap along and stuff. That is just something even beyond whatever I thought was possible, especially in sports and music. But having those two marriages, I mean, 4 years ago I had no idea what Murga was. I until I met Mateo and Rigo. They sent me all the YouTube videos, all the music, all the recordings, and I just soaked it up.
You soaked it up, yeah. It's I was talking to Kirk Magnum, and then we were just saying how on the way to the stadium it was just some of the other supporter groups, they're a little more like a Barra style. We want to be more of a we want to have our own beat, our own unique beat, and it was something that it might not be the most, I would say, popular thing, and it's something new and different, but it makes sense for us because
absolutely.
of the audience that comes to the games, because it gets everybody around it and everybody knows it, and it's not just the band that knows it and that's it. So, now going back to whenever you started and you would get every job as whether stage guy, running cables. I feel like that part is crucial for musicians.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like the when you want to be this top chef, you have to be the dishwasher first.
Absolutely.
You have to work in that. That if you get to work and do good in the food industry and flip burgers in a high paced Memorial or 4th of July and McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure by the time you get to the steakhouse, you're gonna be able to cook the steak rare or get the timing right. So that's something that I feel like even like some musicians, there's always some that I don't want to do that. I only play this instrument. But you picked up the piano, you picked up the drums, and those are the two. But you also have you played other instruments in the past as well? Or?
I try, like I said, I took every job that they would give me. But I also, I mean, if they were like, a band needs a bass player, I was like, okay, I'll be that guy. We need a bass player, lead singer. Okay, I'll be that guy. I have no business doing either. But it was like, you're 15 and it's just 3 chords and you're, trying. And again, I'm not ever saying that I'm a good bass player, but learning the notes made it so that I could start to watch the bass player's hands when I'm playing keys. And if I'm unsure where we're at, I can go, oh, he's playing a G. And then what got me to learn guitar hands, that be it, I cannot play guitar, but I know where the notes are,
right?
So I can cheat in case I'm like,
the
solo's in A minor.
You can transpose right then and there,
right, and I'm like, oh, we're here, and I just don't even have to worry about well, he's playing that, so if he's wrong, let's all be wrong together, I mean, that's, and two, I used to play with these old cats that wouldn't give me music, you had to memorize, which obviously. But they wouldn't give me the charts. They were like, "No, you got to learn by ear." And I was like, "All right." And then they would do this and then this, which is 4 sharps and 4 flats.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do you?" And this is before Murga, so I'm like, "Dolly ATX? What are you calling here? I don't know." And no, it was it was really 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 silly, but it was a fun learning moment. And two, I mean, just learning all the aspects of it when you go on tour and stuff and you're in a hairy situation and say the sound guy's also the bartender and they're like, oh, I'm not. And then you're like, I got this.
Yeah.
Run sound check. I mean, we were playing at the W in or the Washington, but in DC, and this lovely man, but did not know. They was like, hey, you want to go make sure that sounds good? Like I don't know what his job was.
Yeah.
It was not.
sound.
No. I mean, he was looking at it going,
So
and you can just see that face.
he keeps
and I
on
was
like
When you lie on your resume and something.
oh, man. But I mean, and again, the other thing being on the opposite ends, being the sound guy at times,
Right.
you know not to run up to them and be like, you freaking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, they still could like turn your shit off.
Right.
Or they could still
Yeah.
like
Right.
go up there like, all right, here you asshole, here you go.
yeah.
You know,
Or
so,
when you're playing and you can hear your keys, because this guy's right here like, motherfucker, I got you.
yeah, exactly. And that goes. I mean, that just goes with the rest of life. Like you were
Right.
saying, working in the kitchen. I worked and bartended for several years, and I think I don't think everybody should have to go to college, but I think you should have to do 2 years service industry, whatever that may be.
Gotcha.
I just think everybody. This is
think-
not my announcement for running for office. I don't want. I wish.
Kirk 2024.
No.
Kurt
But if I
Lammers,
could run on a
2024
platform,
right here. Here
that's
we go.
it. That's it.
2 years.
I mean,
in
well,
the-
I could talk about other
2
things.
years
but
in the service
basically
industry.
it.
I'll make everybody treat
Minimum.
everybody a little bit better.
Yeah,
Because
I
you're
would say I agree.
We
I
all have
agree.
those friends that
Yeah.
don't tip.
Right.
And you're like, you never wash a dish. You know
Yeah.
that. Oh, man. Oh, it kills me. Anyways.
No, that's actually a good thing, because we're gonna get into versatility as well, which is something that you're keen to grow on. Just everything you do is just like, I mean, earlier, like this weekend, for example, you were in a symphony before this and you were playing drums. So for me, it's you're a multifaceted individual, and that's good, because whenever you're coming in situations where, for example, the sound part, and that's crucial when you're playing in a band or in a place that you don't really know. When you get to know that, and you also not just do it and know how to do it with knowledge, but also with character, that shows, how well you are, up here, and how well you are like in your heart too.
Yeah.
So, and you've been in a situation where maybe you messed it up in the past, so you'll be
sure.
like, dude, I got it, no worries, I've
Oh,
done
yeah.
worse.
Oh, yeah. No, believe me, everything has never been sunshine rainbows. There have been many times it didn't get there. I wasn't prepared. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, you just realize, and it just takes time. Mm-hmm. And when you're prepared and that call comes, if you are prepared, you will get it. Mm-hmm. That's how that's what I always thought. And I think it works out really well. So, and sometimes you're not, mm-hmm. and sometimes you fly by the seat of your pants, but you also just can't you can't rely on that every time. Like I've tried to go into gigs or, DJ events or something like that, and I'm just like, I'll do it on the fly. I won't really kind of set up a set list or something. And I learned very early on that was a bad.
You gotta have a set list every time you play.
Yeah. Some at least navigate. Mm-hmm. And then as George Carlin said, have exits. Always have exits off the highway. If you realize a joke's not going well, you got an exit. You don't have to tell the 5-minute version. You can tell the 1-minute version.
Right.
And get to the next that is going to kill or whatever. Same thing with music and life. I mean,
That's pretty solid advice.
Right.
Kurt, you talk about your willingness to take on different jobs, especially going through the music industry. Where did this energy come from? Like, I know music has always been your passion, but a lot of people have passions and not the follow through or that willingness to struggle. And then sometimes the challenges become too much to overcome. So what's kind of helped you throughout your life, continue to push forward with music?
Oh, 100% my family. 100% my parents, my sister. And not only that they cracked that egg giving me music, and and just, hear them sing, and then, seeing your parents dance is always adorable, and because you're like, oh, they're super old, they hate each other, and they didn't. But you're just like, oh, and then I don't know, times like that, and it's just like, oh, you could really find the joy in music, and that was really what I think that they showed me was their absolute joy and love for music, and just in life. I mean, half my family's Italian, my father's German. And it's just, big families, big long table, sharing a bunch of dishes. So it's always music. It's always
a good time.
family and just
Wine.
being good people. Just not being an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I don't know, and
That's a
I'm
good take.
so fortunate. I mean, absolutely, I lucked out. I know everybody's got the best parents,
Man,
but man,
yeah.
I got my mom
That's beautiful,
now,
man.
and I got my sister.
Shout out to the
So,
Lammers family.
Yeah, man, and extended. Like we are
yeah.
really really lucky.
It's beautiful that you say that. There's a huge power of music to kind of bring people together, but also, like, for example, I've been in party situations or family get-togethers where my grandma, who's like in her 70s and she has health issues, but that song comes on, she's gonna get up and
She's 21
gonna,
again.
She's gonna dance, and like the age, the health issues just go away.
Yeah.
So
And it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not gonna. I did not write the paper. I'm not going to go into it, but it's very well proven how music can heal the soul. But we all know, like, that your jam. I mean, even now, like, your jam comes on, you're like, I wasn't going to dance, but
Yo perreo sola.
2 shots. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just just that joy for life and joy of music, and really for me. Without, music's just always been a part of my soul. I wouldn't be alive without it. Like I don't think.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
Well, talk to us a little bit about some of your biggest influences musically.
Oh man. Well, so that's the thing. So I said earlier, music at the grandparents' house, music at So there was. The grandparents was a lot of Sousa marches and orchestras and the Rat Pack and Bobby Darin, all those singers. They hit some Ray Charles sometimes. The ballads. The other that was too fast. Make feet move.
It's making me move a little bit too much.
No, they did like dancing. I don't mean it, but that So there's that, and then of course. She had a piano. My grandma had a piano, which there was the hymnal, which, when I was learning, I was like, oh, I could play the top note, or I could play one other thing, and I would, learn the vocal line or something. So that was, and she would be sitting there in the kitchen just singing her favorite hymns or, all the time. So that was a cool side of it. And then my parents, my mom got to see the Beatles when they first came to play Dallas. You know what I mean? My dad was a big Three Dog Night. Vanilla Fudge, deep cut. When I told Line of Dime, I told my dad I want to play drums. He goes, okay. And then, like, I don't know, he was kind of weird, and he like walked away. And I was like, all right, fine. And then the next day, or maybe like a week later, shows up with Inagata Vita, an Eagles record. I think the first greatest hits. Three Dog Night, let's be real. That definitely made it in there. But he showed me, he's like, if you can, Buddy Rich, he goes, if you can play like these guys, then you're a good drummer. And I was like, oh, okay. And then first one I played was Iron Butterfly, and it got Vita. It's 15 to 20 minutes long. I'm like, what is this? I got to like 6 minutes. I'm like trying to learn.
It's the endurance right there, man.
Yeah. And I was like, all right. So then that got into, that went to your 60s bands. And great outfits like Blind Faith and Cream, Ginger Baker. But then I was very fortunate when I first moved here. I played in a like 60s psychedelic kind of soul band. And man, all this music I had listened to was just like the surface. did not get into that, but where I really opened up was getting back into listening to old soul, or James Brown. That's not old soul, but James Brown and Chuck Berry, and then getting into like Art Blakely and more of the jazz realm, but just kind of like avenues I had not really explored and just weren't really there. So those drummers, Clyde Stubblefield, and played for everybody. I mean, he was on Thriller. He was on, but he played with James Brown when he was a kid. Yeah. Like, it's rad. I mean, Bernard Purdy. Oh, yeah. Because I found out later, John Bonham, Led Zeppelin, also was 15. Dude, I was all about it. But his favorite drummer was Bernard Purdy, who also played with James Brown. He had a lot of drummers. But and then he also played. I also think he played on Thriller and other Quincy Jones records and stuff. So and I realized that I'm like, oh, and so it really just expanded from that, and then of course college, that whatever music that is hitting the clubs, that's the jams.
Yeah,
it's early 2000s.
Oh, the crunk era.
Oh,
Crunk
dude.
era.
Oh, man.
To the window.
Nappy Roots.
To the wall.
I think people are kidding when I'm DJ. I was DJing a wedding a few weeks ago, and someone came up and they were like, "All right, get low," and I'm like, "Do you really want this?" I was like, I think you were telling me you think I want this, and that's fine. I was like, okay, and then they were like, "And yeah, yeah." No. Who's it by? Ursher? No.
Ursher.
I don't know. What? No, anyways.
And
That's hilarious, man.
who? Ludacris? Luda.
Who is Chris Ludacris?
So, where'd you go to college, Kurt?
I went to University of Arkansas.
Okay.
Right on.
And it was the only one that would give you the most money. That's true. But I mean, really, if y'all haven't got to go to the Northwest Arkansas area, we should all make a road trip for Carlos.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Well, Carlos is in Springdale, which was right next to Fayetteville, where University of Arkansas is. That's where he lives. So we should go up there. Anyways, it's gorgeous. Camping, biking.
Let me start planning. Just let me know when and what time.
Yeah, we get this. We'll put some new tires on the tour van and we'll take off, guys. But yeah, so I went there and what an experience. We were actually good then for like 2 years. And I'm not good. We cracked the top 10 once. But it was awesome. We beat Texas at home, my very first away match. It was awesome. Well,
he's like pun intended.
They were filming the Tommy Lee Jones movie where he protects, I don't know why I remember this, protects the Texas Longhorn cheerleaders from a serial killer or a stalker or something. I can't remember. I didn't see the movie. But apparently, in the movie, the Longhorns had to win the game.
Right. So
they just lost this huge upset. We are one of the worst teams in the SEC. At that time, we were not very good. And we came back to it was red. They were not happy, but they were like, everybody stay. We still have to film the thing for the. So I kind of want to go back and watch the movie just for the sad faces are like. But I'm now in Austin. I won't wear burnt orange, but I'll go to a game.
There you go. You go support and with
I'll
a beer.
Go support. Yeah. So and that I mean again going back to my parents, y'all, they did not miss. They missed one game. One game in the 5 years. Yeah, victory lap. 5 years that I was in college. One game. That's insane. They my sister was in high school. They went to the high school football games. And my sister's playing the band. They left drove all night, 6 hours, whatever, to Fayetteville. Got up at 7:30 in time for band practice, and they were there the whole. And sometimes the match. I'm conditioned now.
Hey.
The game wouldn't be until 3 or 4, and they're up at 7 after not. That's
wild, man.
That's good.
That's
shout out to your parents.
Where I talk about
supportive.
lucky, and they both work full-time jobs. It's not
It's not easy.
No.
That's good. Because I'm pretty sure you grew up appreciating that aspect of your parents being there, but not even with whenever you told your dad you were gonna play the drums instead of oh yeah, cool, that's cool, go ahead, go to practice. Yeah. He was he comes back with a stash and all right, so this is your thing from now on. You know those songs, you're gonna be a good drummer.
Yeah, and he's not a musician.
Yeah,
but he was right. Honestly, that was that's the greatest thing to do. Never. Yeah, if your kid's I want to do music. Oh my gosh! Please support them. Do not.
Right.
Never, ever stifle. I mean, that's
It's great that you say that because I think it's more common from friends and family that I grew up with, people that I know, anyone that had any type of creative, desire or passion. It was always well, yes, but you should also have this other thing. Maybe you should look into another career path. So they kind of discourage it a little bit, but it's great to hear that your parents did the opposite. They gave you, they gave you these things to kind of push you in that direction. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like say from my side too, my parents were always like, you know, do whatever you do is right. What you want to do, as long as it's legal. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Then there's a gray area.
It has to be legal.
It has to be legal.
They always gave me the out. You can always blame it on us.
Right.
I loved that. That was always she's like, you don't want to go to a thing? Don't go to a thing. Blame it on us. I was like, okay. And that was like also the greatest, parenting advice ever. I was like, okay, yeah, all right. And it kind of didn't put me in real shady situations early in life.
That's good.
But yeah, and two, I mean, and this is just a fun factoid, but like my dad, so I told you he was a trainer for the soccer team in Dallas. He also was a trainer and started the Justin Sports Medicine for like the rodeo circuit. And he would travel all over the world, and I would go with him on summers when I wasn't in sports or wasn't stuff like that. So that was also lots of records, like lots of CDs.
Right.
You know, like we all used to have the big old book of CDs.
Oh yeah,
like
flipping through 'em.
Oh yeah, we had that. And I mean, and comedy, like stand up. I probably listened to George Carlin a little too young in life, but that's fine. Richard Pryor probably a little too young in life.
There you
but
go.
Let's not worry about it. But we, so those that time on the road and stuff was a lot of listening. And again, my dad is not a musician, or he was not a musician, but he when In the Air Tonight, that Phil Collins big solo or whatever, y'all, we make the same drum face. I saw it, I went, oh no,
it's hereditary.
I'm gonna and that was where I was like, that was when I was young. I was like, I don't want to look like my dad. But now I got the sparkle just like him, like he did. So it's pretty rad.
Man,
that's awesome,
cool.
Man. What brought you to Austin? I know. So you grew up in North Dallas. You went to school, University of Arkansas. Then you came to Austin. What brought you here?
Yeah. So I left Arkansas 2007 or 2008, and I went to LA. So I was like, yeah, this is where music is made.
Yeah, there's the big times right there.
But I got a phone call. Like I legitimately, guy I played with in high school. He was like, hey man, we got this like 6-month-long tour. He was like, you still play drums? I remember you're really good. Do you want to come out? I was like, yeah. 2 days later, I was in LA. Like I packed everything up, left it. Like because that's music's always what I want to do, and I loved. I wasn't a music major for a long period of time or anything else like that. So as far as teaching and other things, which I did get to teach a little bit, which was nice. But where it really was heading was performing live and everything. So getting to go out there and really get my ass kicked. Oh, I got my ass kicked. Oh, I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anything. And I was green. I've just come from Fayetteville, Arkansas, where I thought I ruled the world and all this other stuff. And, it's just that I'm sure old LA adage, like, oh, yeah, you come from a small town, like thinking you rule the place. Well, get ready.
Like,
and
here it comes.
And it did. And honestly, I love going back. I'm still, good amount of friends and people that I collaborate with still that still live in LA and stuff. And I do like to go back, but Austin. And so we went on tour, and on my 24th birthday, we landed in Austin. Okay. Arkansas played Texas that day too. Strangely enough, we were at Canaan Abels.
What a coincidence!
Man, I'm telling
you were at Canaan Abels.
Yeah, we also won that decidedly. I had at 24 had not gotten a control of when have I had too much to drink, and the answer was then. That was then. But because then you go, oh, it's my birthday. People buying shots and shit, and I wasn't wearing anything Arkansas because I was like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. I was like,
neutral, black or white shirt.
Big old boys, big old
on
Bowie knives in their boots and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, Longhorn. Okay, cool. All right, my name's Chris. All right, bye. I don't know. I was like, I don't want to. Yeah. So, and I sat up on. My band had abandoned me, so I was by myself. This sounds so sad. It's not. But I was by myself, and I sat up on the balcony, and I had I think a shot of Tawaka because 24, and I probably a beer or something. I remember, and I was sitting there, and I was like, "Happy birthday, me," whatever. But I was looking at the town and all the music and stuff like that was going on, and I was like, I think this is more my speed. Mm-hmm. And my folks, we're still my mom and sister still live up in Dallas, but they're still living there. It's 3.5 hours if you're lucky, and so I was like, it's closer, and it's still a music town. I mean, this was 2009 when I moved here, and then so I came back to town. I made a movie with a friend of mine, the Hollywood Shuffle. Yeah, you will not find it. I have I think one of 6 DVD copies that are still around. Which again, I got to find a DVD player to put it in. So did that, and then I went to University of Arkansas, and my neighbor, his youngest brother, played guitar. Okay. And he was like, "Oh, you got a drum kit in your garage?" Yeah. He's like, "Oh, my little brother Shane, he's coming this weekend. I'll tell him to bring his guitar." Okay. And really good little, I say little. He was like 16 or 17 at the time, singer songwriter and whatnot. And I always remember that, and I was like, "Oh, that was really cool." It's just we played for maybe 30 minutes, and then he reached out. Maybe that May after we wrapped a shooting and all the post audio stuff, and he was like, "You want to move to Austin?" Okay, and we were in Tyler recording his debut record, and and we moved to Austin. I mean, and then that was really it. And I met my landlord. Ended up being a guy I worked for audio engineering for 8 years or so. I mean, it's just like all the things that came from that was like. This was the right decision. And now, I mean, Shane's killing it. Shane Smith, I think there's still Shane Smith in the Saints. Okay. But big, Texas country, like that kind of, I mean, yeah, like folk, he's a big Bob Dylan head, but they don't sound like Bob Dylan, but you can hear his lyrics. He's got really, really good lyrics and just all around real good guy. But that's what got me to Austin, so.
That's I think everybody that moves to Austin has this one part where like, you know what, I always felt like this was the one place, but then somehow somewhere they whatever they were doing in the past, it kind of caught up to them at that moment, and then everything was a coincidence for people, because it's not the first time that I hear someone that had this Austin effect, and I guess that's why a lot of people are moving here, because there's just something about it that makes it special in a way. Yeah. I mean, that's Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, they're here now. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they had an experience where they're like, man, this is a very good place to live, and it's completely different than, like anything. Yeah. So
it's enough of, it's a big little city. It's enough of, this town where it does, harbor live music in certain avenues, and it's still, struggling. Excuse me. With like the tech industry and what it wants to be. Right. So, that struggle is constant, and it leads to frustrating things and venues closing and reopening on the opposite sides of town and stuff like that, or not being like they used to. Sure. That's just, that's changes how it goes. Yeah. I just don't, I don't want it where there's no live music downtown.
Yeah. You gotta have music. I think if once you take the music away, it's gonna take away that Austin part, that's soul, yeah,
for sure.
And I'm not hating on DJ. Like I are one. Well, like, but I like. There still needs to be live music. There needs to be that too. There needs to be that avenue, but there needs to be live music too. Like it's just, it's bad. Like we always tell a joke like the $100 gig hasn't changed since 1960. Like it's still like
same rate.
Oh yeah, playing 4 hours, $100 each. No, for all of you. Are you kidding me? I mean, I've had I mean, that's I mean, I won't say the venue, but I mean, like, even for Murga, like getting out to play, like we asked for a donation, and that goes to instruments repair, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, or fundraising, other things like that. But like these guys are like, oh, we don't have more than a $300 music budget. You're like, what? Are you?
What the heck?
Who's playing
Yeah.
that? Like who's? And I, you know, and I get it, but like, it'll create competition. Like you can make $1,000 playing at this venue. You're gonna get the best acts in there, but you're gonna pay them $100.
They're gonna
like,
give you, like,
why
a
does the
shitty-
band suck? It's like you paid him $100
Yeah,
total.
that's true.
For 5 hours.
And the thing is, like, the band doesn't just play, but the equipment that they can bring to make, that experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's the years. I sit there. It's experience. When you're talking about your rate, it's experience, and it's like how long you got to play, like and how long you have to prep and rehearse. Like those hours is time. Like you need to charge for that time, and $100 doesn't cut it, man. Like that's, and I'm not sitting there saying, oh, we're musicians or doctors, we should make $100 an hour. No, that's $100 an hour is $50 is going to rehearsal time, $20 going to gas, food, but all those things. Like it's like, nah, man. When you break it down, it's like it'd be nice to make a little bit on the top,
Right.
and, not just be like, oh, here's my crisp $20 bill from that show,
And then
It's tough,
in my
man.
pocket.
yeah,
And then it goes to beer after that.
And it's not, and I'm not. This is a blanket generalization about the fear where it could go if it doesn't get any better. So there are plenty of venues that don't do that. That are hard, like are good places for good live music, and they're out there, But then again, there being half a dozen, it's tough to get a gig at them, like
Right.
because they're great.
And
Like
then adding on top of that, just how expensive the city has gotten since 2009, since you've been here to 2022. The struggle of the artist and the musician here in this town has increased exponentially. I feel, man, it's tough. It's tough to hear, man. But
I mean, it's still there.
Yeah,
It's still
Right.
survived.
It's there.
Like it's not anywhere near close to its last, swan
Right.
song by
Right.
any means. But I just, we got all this tech money. We got all this
exactly,
stuff. Like,
there's all
They
this,
can
there's
pay
all
for
this
it,
money
yeah.
here,
like
right?
hell yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. Like that doesn't seem crazy.
And it's kind of like you move in, you still got to take care of the culture.
Yeah,
Like,
remember
Right.
what brought you here. Remember
Right.
what made you appreciate the
Right.
city. So,
Yeah, and then again, that's what brought me to this city, and what I absolutely still love about this city. I mean, the symphony I played earlier, saw 5 different musicians that I either played with or knew or went to shows, and was just
Yeah.
like, oh, what's up? Go, good to see you. I mean, now shows are back and tours are back and stuff like that.
it's a great community.
It's just great to see everybody, and
Yeah.
it's just really nice. So
That's good. That's good.
that was. Oh man, you haven't seen it so long. It's awesome.
That's good, man.
So
And speaking of community, man, so talk to us about how you met certain people that brought you into the Murga.
yeah, so I went to I didn't play at the launch party. That was like January. I don't remember what day that was because I wasn't there. But the launch of the team, or the announcement of the team, I think it was like Landon on snare, I think Faris on bombo, and that might have been it. I think maybe one. I think Jay was on trumpet. I think there was. So I saw that in the announcement, and I was like, "Oh, tight. That's cool. Guess they have a band." I was like, I wonder if they need more drummers. And that was really my thought.
Yeah.
And so I was stalking, Austin Anthem's Instagram page and stuff, being like, all right, when's the next event or whatever? And I'm gonna I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna talk. Y'all, really, I'm not gonna talk to anybody. But I held out. I made it an hour. I'm amazed at that. That's kind of, they had all the Premier League.
You were here like,
I know. I was like just sitting on my hands. Yes, I would like another beer, sir. But
you're like,
I can't remember precisely who it was that came up to me, but it was somebody. I want to say Derek Ensign, but I could be wrong. So I apologize whoever that person was if it wasn't Derek. But came to me and was like, "Hey, bud, sitting by yourself, like what's up?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just hanging." I was like, I was coming here. You guys,
no pressure, no
do
pressure.
you know who's doing the band? Just like that. I was like, I'm not really here for anything. We're like, yeah, you guys are the guys in the band. And I went up to, and he was like, oh yeah, you should meet Mateo. And I went up, met Mateo. He was like, yeah, play violin. I'm getting better, trumpet or whatever. And I was like,
good.
oh, okay, cool. And really nice talking with him. And he was like, well, you got to meet Rigo. Okay. And he walks me over, and then in this field of jerseys, out pops. I mean, y'all remember the old Rigo haircut and everything. This
with the mullet, the green mullet.
Monterey Hagrid from Harry Potter pops out. And these guys, his Tigres kid. Sorry, oh my God. I'm gonna get a text from Rigo. I didn't say Rigo. But no, but he got his he got a Tigres jersey on, and oh man, he was just like, oh, okay, so you know about Murga? I was like,
right now, yeah.
No, I was like, no. He's like, oh, it's like Carnival street band and this and South Carlton. He gave me the elevator pitch basically, and he goes, we got a WhatsApp group, and I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I'll add you to it, and it was, Jay, Mateo, Rigo, Gabby, and I believe Landon still at that time, and yeah, we just met up in the park and started making noise, and people would come by and be like, oh, what are y'all doing? We're like, oh, we got a soccer team coming, and we're going to be the band. And they're like, good luck with that. Like, thanks. I was like, all right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But they always they would never be like, y'all sound great. They'd be like, I could hear you across the lake. Like something like that. And you're like, that wasn't a compliment, but I will take it. We're loud. I'll take that. So
you're like, okay, guys. So they heard us across the lake. Now imagine across the stadium.
Yeah, and that was like
this is what we're building up for
That's
us.
awesome. When did y'all start meeting at the park practicing?
Oh, April. So I think that was South by when I went to the Anthem, the Premier League watch party thing, and then I'm fairly certain. I think I got in the WhatsApp group, and I think we met the following week, maybe 2 weeks from then. Down at honestly, it's near the same place where I was in the symphony today. But we were just hanging out there. I remember by me, Mateo, Rigo, and I think Gabby too. For some of it was sitting in at Mueller Park with the with the flashlight on and just writing lyrics to Macalla.
Okay,
because that was our first original, and we were like, oh man.
Wow.
So when it was getting all that hate last year, I was
pissed about
I was mad. I was like, this is our song.
You're like, you would not trust me. This is
I remember being
first,
we wrote a song. I was like, we wrote a chant. It actually works, and the lyrics are great. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, and then Rigo, classic Rigo. All right, now it's like 20, 25 more. Oh, dude.
You're like, all right, so how was it whenever you started playing and you joined, because you already had experience. How was that like coming in with something completely new, completely different? Because in some bands, sometimes you already know, like, you're going to play in this place. But here, I mean, yes, there was probably the announcement of the team at that time, but the stadium wasn't built or getting in that process. But it just, you coming in as a musician, what's the first thing you noticed that, okay, this is where we can do something different, adding your touch to what it could be, like what it is now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at first it was, and coming from college band, high school band, very regimented, marching and all that stuff, and not even like Grambling, like the show bands and stuff like that, like the movie Drumline, nothing like that. We were definitely the whitest kids, and like, yeah, we were, yeah.
Give me 1 second. Pásame otra vez, porfa. Yeah. He's in that beer.
Oh yeah.
I ran out.
Yeah, sad glasses.
Yeah, man. La ranch, there we go. Thank you. Sorry. Excuse me. Thank you.
Man.
Actually, I saw the commercial, or the billboard, and I was like, I want to have it, and I saw it, and I was like, okay, you know me so well.
They're not bad, but please
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Interruption.
No, you're good. We're always good for a beverage break. Yeah, no. Nope. Now I'm back. Where were we at? Sorry.
About when you came in and you started as a musician to La Murga.
Oh yeah. So, I started off with university and high school bands,
right.
In that regimented style of everything.
Why does marching?
Yeah, and I mean they were clapping on 1 and 3. I mean it was bad, y'all. So it was, but it was a wonderful learning experience. Really, where I really started to have fun in bands, like real fun in band, was in college. So I was kind of trying to bring some of that to it, but again, it's still that like American football style.
Right.
You play at breaks.
Right.
You stop when the team's playing. You sit down. Like all these things that didn't make. I was like, why wouldn't you be standing? But I brought it. I brought a lot of that in the early days. But I was playing Bombo, and I wanted to kind of, I was trying to like do some of those elements, warm ups and other things like that that just weren't working. Not because they weren't good, but just because it just wasn't right for the element. And then, going back and then rewatching all those videos, Rigo sent me, I was like, oh, no, this is rehearsal. I'm watching them rehearse. This is, okay. I was like, all right, that's the approach we'll go for. And that's more or less, now we do warm-ups and all of a sudden that's mainly for the brass, too, to get them sound. Oh, man, the brass sounds so good on Saturday. I know it's tough. But they sound so good. Our brass killing it, man.
Yeah, man.
And so it's transitioned that where it's kind of a mixed bag of a little bit of the regimented just to like, get the process going. We're at rehearsal. We're warming up. We're going to play well. But the rest of it really just kind of came from watching those videos and referencing those and how we do that. So, a few things I still try to sneak in every once in a while. And I'm definitely, we get new people all the time. So I'll, be sitting there and showing them how to play or something like that or a certain rhythm is so that's nice. I get to do some of the teaching element again, which is super fun. But it just, you really just can't take the band nerd out of, like the marching band nerd out of me. I love it, and I always love doing it. I mean, I played in the basketball band in college, women's and men's. Played in the volleyball band. We had a volleyball band. It was fun, man. We were good too. We were awful and everything else, but we were really good in volleyball. So we got to travel. Like it was rad. And I was in love with most of them. They were not in love with me, but
so many crushes.
Yeah. But that was a lot of fun. But that basketball band a little bit more towards what we're doing. Again, they do take breaks and stuff like that. But the energy, they're standing the whole time, they're cheering, they're in the game, they're an element of the game. That I think was where it really translated well to Murga.
Okay.
And I mean, hell though, luckily we had those UT women's games to start going to that year before or 2 years before, because. Man, when we first started, I was like, "There's no way I'm going to play 90 minutes.
Yeah,
how am I going to play that long? Like that's a long.
That's
time.
a long. Yeah, it's almost.
You go to a concert, they
stamina.
still take breaks.
Right.
They still play slow songs. You know what I mean? Like we do not. Like there's that chunk of time where in between where you have to go. Is it worth going to the bathroom right now? Because I'm right, and y'all know, but see pictures and stuff. I'm right in the middle of everything, and I just. This way,
you're like
this way, and it's just so many people. I'm like, I'm not gonna go.
And a lot of
you just have to make decisions.
Yeah, and a lot of I can see is like I see the couples going like this, and I see you going like 4, and we're like, what?
Oh yeah. And that really came off of, and we're still working it out. I hope to everybody it seems it goes so smooth during games, but they're games, they're live games. Like we really can't come up with a set list because like you start to see the guys, and that's I don't get to watch a lot of the home matches, but we try to notice, and the capos are really good at signaling me, being like, we need to let's
do it again,
let's go, let's do it again, let's pick it up or something, and that's been great. So we really worked out that communication really well. So we're kind of like right now it'll be just like literally having conversations with each other.
Yeah.
But it's just wild. So and then getting like the Murga capo in there, which is Mateo or Anthony, it's Mark too sometimes. That's Steffi got to do it some last season too. So getting to have that in helps. Just communicate, because I mean I can call the next thing, or I can call cut off or whatever, but I still got to drum, or I still got to make sure everybody's singing it, and I can't be worried about the compos. So it makes it it takes a lot of pressure off me on that end, but also if I'm just zoned out, just like in a chant, I'm just like feeling it, and they're like, we should. Usually Ray is like Cuervos or Aleola. That's usually Ray. Kirk will always, Kirk or Jay Torres will always ask for that. I'm trying to, yeah. There's some that they have. I'm like, oh, I know. I get that look from Ray. I'm like, all right, Cuervos, it's time.
Yeah. So last year, whenever I'll go to a game, I'll go as an spectator, and then I got to just see all that. It's hard when you're I like to pay attention to details and things, and when I saw the first game and how it went, like the whole game, there were songs. I mean, we didn't win, we tied, and like, okay, cool, but it was just like a song after song after song. I was like, damn, these guys are going at it, and I didn't know none of the songs. I knew I know how to say like, listos verdes, and I knew anything like I that I could hear in Spanish, but then as we went, it was just I started noticing a lot of like more details, but I only noticed it from the capos. But I would hear the band, but never really paid attention to anything until when I started the photography part, and I started seeing all the communication and everybody just like talking to each other. But I got to learn more about La Murga and how everything rolls. Because for me, it's an actual. I mean, you prepare, you practice on Tuesdays, you get everything ready because you actually gotta it's an actual performance that that it's a lot of it. It's on you guys is to make sure that it makes it the unique experience of Austin FC in the league. And I mean the game is going on, but you guys are out there like producing and generating this emotion by playing these songs. And sometimes some people might be like, oh man, we're playing this song where we should be, like hyping the players up, but we're playing, like a slow one. It's kind of like, dude, chill out. You'll be all right.
We'll get there.
But
you need but it's also, what I also learned is like, you can burn people out doing 3 hard ones, like just real fast. And people get burned out, and they're just like, okay, I'm kind of done raging for a second. Not saying they're done singing, but it's just learning like when to. And I mean, and now again, we're always getting better. But now I think it's starting to really have a life of its own, where it's I'm able to plot out like, oh, let's do these next 3. I think I mean, I always change, like it happens, or I'll get a suggestion from one of the capos or somebody. But we just have so many. We're still working on new songs. So we we premiered "Is This Love" at the Bob Marley tune at Austin Beer Works last night.
Okay.
Nice.
And it went off really well.
Nice.
That's great.
Because people were like, "Are they playing
Bob Marley?"
And it honestly, the lyrics. The only thing that changes is, I think it's in McCalla, and that's the only change. The rest of the lyrics are the original lyrics, basically. But it's just so fitting for us.
Yeah.
And then this is the chorus, is this love, is this love? I mean, like, it's slow. It's absolutely slow. I don't know that we'll play it when we're down.
Right.
But if we're up by a few,
let's put it out there.
That would be pretty great.
Right.
Like,
That's
85th minute, and just be like, get it back. I just think that one's going to, I mean, again, I think all of them are going to be great and everyone's going to love them, which is never the case. But they're all our babies. I like, yeah, and they all have a story, and I mean that's the love of creating, and you get I know where they started, and I know how we've just formed these songs. I mean, Cinco Doce, total whim.
Right.
That was Jay Torres, or I honestly I'm gonna go with him. I can't remember who actually started it. We were like, we need a middle section. The brass are gonna pass out if they play that line over and over. Oh, they're gonna pass out. They're fantastic. But even Selena's band took a break, y'all. Like it's not, So
Los Dinos were like, hey man,
they were great.
Yeah.
Oh, they were. Yeah, I was. You guys are still out there. Please come join La Morga. Well, we're kind of know the part. But then he was just like, well, let's just do Cinco, Uno, Dos, 2, 3, 4, Cinco, Uno, and I was like, all right, that works. And that is how that. But it gave that section life And what I think is, I don't know if it's true, but I think most people's favorites are either 512, Matador, I don't know. And that's just from crowd reaction.
Right.
Cuervos, obviously.
Yeah.
Crowd
They gotta be
desperation,
ready for that. Yeah.
You know, but yeah. And Dolly ATX, and I'm not saying the rest of them are not. I love them. I don't think anybody's. You know, there's some that you can feel it when everyone's like, "This is my jam, Dolly, Dolly," and they're just in, and you're like, "All right, man," and it's cool. And when we started to see, I remember second match, third match, home match, first season. I remember we were playing, and again, we were still getting new and figuring stuff out. And we got to Dolly ATX, I think the second half, so that people had already heard it the first round. And we, like, just did the breakdown with just the claps and stuff like that, and the drums cut out. And we could see people up in the, well, not nosebleeds, but up in the second section, at the other end, clapping.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, shit, they're listening.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, we're making it. Oh, damn, we're actually doing it. Okay, all right. And that, I caught Wiley's eye, and he goes, "You see that? They're clapping." I was like, I know. And it was just like this moment was like, we're doing it right.
And Wiley shows his emotions, like he'll be like,
I know, yeah, he's great. He's great. I know I'm in the zone sometimes too, and you know, there's a million things going on. You know, during a match, and I'm trying to, like, you know, trapeze all those, but man, he'll catch me. I mean, he'll catch me. Gesture or Alma. Oh, when we play Peppa's, Alma just like leans down. She's like, and just leans right back, like just like around Jeshua's surdo. It was just like, and then just right back, and I was like, oh.
It was a new song, and because actually I was able to, whenever you guys were playing it, I wanted to go and start taking pictures as you guys were doing it, and everyone that was like in La Murga, they were just all like jamming to it, and everybody like once they heard it in the stadium, everybody started like being like, I mean, we're losing. We started to say, like, people like, I saw a couple people, you know, like shaking their, you know, their hips and started, you know, busting out the Shakira moves and stuff. And it was like, dang, I mean, this is the first time we played this song, even though it's popular out there, but it was catchy, and it's something like everybody knows and likes. And it's that, you know, for sure, so, like, you're gonna, you know.
I mean, y'all, my dream for when we play that in the stadium is Jay is lowered on a rope or a line, not a rope, but a proper line, and so with the trumpet and angel wings. I don't know, there's options, and like, but during the like, I just want him just to be lifted in the stands. Whoever the trumpets wants to do it, but in my brain, when we were working out that was in my head, that's what's going on. Like, I in my head, there's, you know, fireworks and other stuff going on when that doom.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, it was funny because like Pepas was actually supposed to be for a specific player's song. Yeah. It was for the Druzy, but then there was why not make it for the team? And then that's when we decided, all right, let's do it for the team. And for the team, it was like, all right, cool. And then at first it was because, you know, everybody's like, whoa, I mean, should we keep it for the player or not? But there was a whole like, no, this is a good song regardless. Like, we gotta go through and follow.
It slaps regardless.
And gotta do it. And that was good. Now, one thing I've noticed is because you're the drum lead, you start everything before you guys play at the, you know, Barra Dos X. Shout out Barra Dos X. Dos X. You are when you come in, you don't seem nervous. You seem like you're ready to just have fun.
Yeah.
And that makes the other people with you, like, they get on it because they already know, like, as you know, you're coordinating the you know, the beat, you coordinate everything from the beginning. Like, I've seen it from other musicians where, you know, it's all around them, and it's all about, you know, like, it's all about them, you know, calling every shot. But then you can always see the band players feel intimidated by that aspect of character. But when you come in, you're like, all right, guys, 1, 2, 3.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, and that comes from my music teachers and my band directors and my drum instructors and stuff. That's how. Yeah, I mean, you know, you have some you like more than others, sure, but you know, some are still one of my best friends, and like, it's just like, again, that joy of music and that joy, like the idea, like, oh, rehearsal. It's like we get to play music with our friends and family and sing to the skies for no other reason than just getting to hang out on a Tuesday, really. So, but I mean, yes, we're getting stuff done, and yes, there's a purpose, but like that element that we are given that moment and afforded to, breathe life into the world through music. We're, I won't ever let that die. I just love, and I'm just so happy to be there. Game day, sometimes I have to like talk myself up into like this almost getting into a fight thing where it's not.
You hype yourself up.
Yeah, just hype myself up and just play Peppers on the drive up there like 2 or 3 times. Like, let's go.
And they wait to other por favor.
I was so ready. So I definitely like. There's moments too. I mean, you catch me in the wrong one, I might be like, "What's up, man?" Oh no, it's not you. I'm just like, yeah, all right.
You just get hyped.
But I gotta get pumped. And the other thing too, and this I learned, all my years playing on stage, and you always got to let the chaos in. Chaos is going to be there. A cable's going to go out. Your battery pack is going to whatever. Chaos is there always. And as long as you acknowledge chaos, say, chaos, I know you're there, but I'm going to go ahead and do this thing. Like, I think in the early, the games and stuff like that, it's really strange to say, but, like, there's this weird voice that pops up, and it goes away, but, like, sometimes it's like, or you couldn't play drums. Like, what if you didn't play right now? I never listen to that voice, but there is that, like, sometimes it's just like, what if you didn't play? And I'm just like, that's never going to happen.
It's not an option.
Not an option. But there is that little chaos, that little, like, lizard brain voice in your head that's just like, I don't know. It's not true, because I absolutely enjoy getting to play and I mean, win, lose, draw. Honestly, the losses hurt, sure, but I just drummed for 100 minutes.
Right.
I'm good. Like I'm actually pretty chilled. I mean, I'm sad, but I'm like, unless it's just like a heartbreaker, and then and all bets are off. But so yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I'm definitely exhausted by the end of the night.
Yeah, man, you put your heart and soul into this, and just hearing about all the hard work that you guys do as a collective, and how many hours and time and amount of people and minds it takes to create that soundscape, that experience. It's pretty cool to hear that backstory to that. As an outsider, I'm not part of the Murga. I just go to the games when I can, and I can tell you that I'm drawn to the games for the spectacle of football, right? But really, what really makes the atmosphere is the music, the beats, the chants, the energy that you guys feed into the crowd. It's contagious, man. And even people that are not necessarily football fans that have gone, that's the one takeaway they always go away with is like, dude, that fan section, the band, the supporter group, like they were live. So, dude, big credit to what you guys do. I know you guys receive a lot of accolades, but I just want you guys to know that as an outsider, y'all created something special, man. And I'm actually interested to know, like, what has informed, because you hear what you guys have created, and it's like a mixture of genres and languages. What's kind of informed that set list?
Yeah, I mean it's reaction from the players, reactions from the crowd, and
Rigo's input.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, like, yeah, that was definitely major influence in helping getting these songs started, and I mean, and bringing like the trueness of Murga to it. Him and Faris like really held. This is what we need to do. This is the sound. These are the instruments. Go. And it was great. It was we're not the only one in MLS anymore, but it really, really just drives, and it's just fun. I mean, you can't help but like, if you hear a beat going, you're telling me you're not tapping your foot, you're not dancing.
I've seen Josh a couple times go like this.
Oh yeah. But I mean, and two, we're watching. If we're playing a slow, and I say a slower tune, but like, 7/4, Very Submarine, or, one of those, we'll be like, all right, we'll kind of maybe cut that out if we're seeing like the players are kind of making, kind of not slacking, but kind of like falling on their heels a little bit. You know what I mean? They're not like they're getting drained, they're getting out, and then we're like, all right, let's hit them with like Bella Ciao was kind of like our like we knew Diego loved that one, and I don't want to say, but I always felt when we pulled out Bella Ciao, he turned it up,
it up a notch.
I mean, he does it all the time. Like, oh my gosh. But I always thought that was like, I was like, all right, it's silly. They're focused. They're in the moment. They're hearing what's going on. They're feeling the support. But I don't think you'd be like, all right, what else songs we play tonight? They would not know, and that's okay. But it is, it's ever growing, and it's, we wanted to do 50-50 Spanish English. We have some Indonesian chants that we want to that some supporters groups that we really dig. There's also this Moroccan club that has a really good chant. We're probably going to try to work out. So we're trying to expand. We want. I mean, we were at the Dynamo, the Houston match, and there was a guy in a Cruz Azul shirts. Another guy. All Liga MX teams. And by halftime, and it was hot as hell, but they were in the shade. By halftime, and they were singing with us when there was like the obviously their lyrics.
Right.
But I could tell, and he was like, singing his version. I was like, but Rad, keep doing that. But he wasn't a Dynamo fan by any means. But then by the second half, he's got they got the jerseys off, and they're swinging it, going along with the la la la, and just hitting. That's cool.
Yeah, it's the power of what you guys do.
Those two guys were just like, what are you doing Saturday? I don't know.
Yeah.
Noon? Let's go see a match.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Clearly a lot of people in Houston missed it. But that's the thing. And again, it's the joy of the sport. And now we get to bring the joy of music with it. And it's just this operatic unison that is based off of chaos, based off of chance. I mean, it's a soccer match. Like anything could happen.
Right.
Anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. And now you're bringing that collection of songs and chants to a greater audience. Tell us the story of how that's become kind of a thing with the release to Spotify and that kind of evolution.
Yeah. When we got maybe 4 chants down, I was like, we need to put these out. We need to record an album. And we did. We recorded those first 4. So the first 4 on the album were the first 4 we recorded. We did this little studio over by my house. I hadn't set up my home studio at that point. And then we got those 4 done. Those just kind of were something we would send out to people when we were trying to play events or honk and festivals, other things like that for like street bands, other things like that. But we kind of used as little, YouTube videos. People learn lyrics and stuff like that. But I was like, well, 4 is not enough to put on Spotify. Like, that's not enough. Like, that's right.
Larger body of work.
Yeah, that's why it's volume 1. Because it is from 3 years of work, of combined efforts, writing, rehearsing, all those things to get those songs where they are. That's why I included a live version of Dolly ATX. It was just better than the one we recorded. It was a live, from one of the games. I think it was the second to last home match last season.
Okay.
And I use, and there's the ATX chant is on there, and then you hear. I think the next stage was Reloco 7/4. Yeah, and you can actually hear on the album the differences in recording. It's like when we were during COVID times, we had to record in the parking lot at the stadium where it was getting built. Sorry, we had to record them out the back of my car, like in the parking lot, like. So there's wind, and you can hear the rocks of people like crunching around, and stuff while we're watching the stadium going up. Like, we're gonna go through this.
You hear the crane like dee, dee, dee.
Oh yeah. Oh no, the train wasn't. Oh well, maybe. I can't remember. It might have. Yeah, it was there. Yeah, it was running up there. Yeah. So, so that probably is in there somewhere. And of course, some people got. You can hear some voices more than others. Some people had a couple. that night. So like Bella Ciao, Reloco. Oh, what's the other one? They're just full voiced.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not. It's not bad in any sort of way. It gives that live stadium element to it, and that's the thing is like it's not like normal recordings ever done before, where you gotta everything's perfect, everything's clean as much as I would like it to be, and as much as it is, like as much as it is clean and it is really well, recorded from Zoll and Jay, just oh man, those notes. Jay just rips it off like that's the old Leonard Bernstein thing. He would say like hold the note and then rip it off, and like and that was like how you see him conduct. He's very like that. Very similar, I guess. But yeah, and Zoll he brought a bass trombone so we can add that to it. Now we got a tuba in Murga, so we're gonna be able. I'm so excited to record a tuba. I'm so excited because then I can sneak in a bass guitar. Not for me, from an actual bass player. But that's what San Nicolas Deluxe does. And I mean, honestly, that was the main reason because Rigo's sent me all those recordings. I was like, well, they're doing that. That's cool. And well, now I know all their chants, and I'm a Tigres supporter. Super supporter by any means. I was like, that was helping us, and also too listening to their album, being like, all right, well, that's what theirs sounds like. Let's take it up a notch. And then there's definitely like the last set, Cuervos, Macalla, Matador, True Love. Those are all the last ones I recorded at my home studio. So those are a little bit cleaner. And those are the ones we did the vocals at the stadium, like in that little stairwell. I don't know if y'all saw that or were at that. And that's something I always wanted to do. Since I read about Pink Floyd, going to Liverpool and recording the crowd, I was I want to do that.
That's awesome.
For sure. Absolutely. And so we've got I think chunks of 20 people, and then I just multiplied them and made it, and some tricks of the trade, but got it where it sounded like at least it's close to in the stadium without being there.
Right.
Gotcha.
But just the dream is just to be walking up the stadium and someone's just bumping 512 or something.
Well, even like say in social media now, like I did see once the songs were released on Spotify and also Instagram. People that would they're part of Austin that would share a story or a reel. They actually shared it with their like the Murga songs, which is it's good because it I mean it's part of that moment you want to share to people, whether it's a video or a picture. You have it with like a Murga song adds a lot more feeling to it, and then
absolutely,
it takes it to another level of like more meaning behind everything that's being done musically in the team.
Yeah, it's just a great way for us to reach more fans. I mean, we have fans all over the world. And they want to hear the chants. They don't get to come to matches yet,
No, you definitely give people something to play on the way to the stadium. That's for sure.
Yeah. And that's the dream. And that was
just to get hyped, dude.
that was the dream. It was 100%. So people were, playing at tailgates, driving up the match, and then too the videos we've gotten from people like their kids singing along, and it's just
nice.
And it's all colors of the rainbow. It's just that's what I love about the music. And how far it's reached, and different cultures it's reached, and how special it is to some people, old and young. We're just so happy people showed up.
Even, La Murga is actually like diverse in not just ethnicities but also age.
Yeah.
We have from 18-year-old guy to 85-year-old guy, 80-year-old guy, and it's kind of like and they're both going at it and it's
Ray and Jay Torres' kid, but not their kid. Oh man, let's try it. Okay, this is the part where you on screen will show a cut version of what it would be like. No, don't do that. It's scary enough with like the Rico, Ray, and then baby Seb.
The one at Las Botanitas. Yeah. Have you seen the sticker? Oh man. So Ray, the one is the couple. He's always like yeah. And then little Seb, And then they have Rico, like he has like the nice haircut, comb back. Yeah. So they have Ray's body, but in that they Photoshop Sebas, like little Sebas' face, and then they use little Sebas on top of Ray, but they use Ray's face on Sebas, and then you have Rico like like on top of him like this. I have to show it to you. I have to take a picture. We have to add it to this.
It's so, and I mean this in the comedic way. It's just so dumb. It's so good. It's so silly.
When you see,
I love it.
No matter how much, like if you have a bad day, you see that picture. We're gonna probably I'm gonna take a picture of it for so when I edit this out and show it, just how you're saying like how dumb and so like. You have a bad day, it makes you like,
it does.
Dang.
It does.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah, I think about it more. Yeah, it pops in my head too often. I'm like, oh man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, even their kids. I mean, like, and they're doing amazing, and they're putting in the work and the time. It's just like you can be playing Xbox, kid. Like this is rad, and that's like, and even to the older folks. The thing about. I mean, that is what's great though. We are they're well, I will say well-aged Austinites. I don't want to call them old. That's not fair. Mm-hmm. But they were around during Austin Aztecs and all so they remember the early days of Austin being a soccer city and have their own passions and history with that, and it's just really, really cool. I mean, Ralph, trumpet player, his one of his soccer coaches was Wolfgang Sunholtz, like Austin football legend, like German football legend. Like it's wild. Like so, I don't know. That's cool. And you're talking about the wide variety of cultures. Everybody I've gotten to meet, it's just been just the energy, the positivity, just the love for Murga, the love for football, the love for. Getting to do what we get to do is amazing. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, like they give so much of their time and they just kill it. We're so fortunate, and it's just one of those things. I don't know how it worked out so well, but really it is. I
think like musically is. From everything that you experience, and from your dad giving you that stash of CDs when you started to learn how to play the drums, how their character molded you to where you were able to be multifaceted in everything you did, to like now it's how your character shows. Because I can see a lot of people, the way they treat each other in the band. There's always a sense of connection between everyone. I mean, of course, there could be differences about, I like your shirt and you don't like my shirt, forget you. Yeah. But on top of that, like that aspect of the band coming together comes from, someone like you're putting that, the musical part. And I think everybody cherishes that moment because you're Kurt Lammers. You want to come hang out and say hi? And, and we were teaching someone how to play. I've seen you, like a couple of times that I've gone to practice. And you're like, all right, let's do this, let's do that. And you're not like, you did it wrong. You're not pointing fingers. You're like, oh, man, just have fun with it. All right, slow down. Pick it up. All right, now go. Right there.
Yeah.
So that shows, like, your character as the drum lead, when everything starts, it's like they already know it's going to be meant for having fun at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And you're going to do it with your friends.
And they're going to, if you are positive and you're in a positive place, you're gonna play better. Mm-hmm. You're gonna not get frustrated at the part or not, those other things. So, and our whole leadership team, that's they all approach it that way, and they all have that share that joy with people, and it's really, really cool. Mm-hmm. You just have to, because it's no fun to be like told you're dumb and you can't do something. It's like I just showed up with I just bought this drum, or I mean, we do have absolute beginners. That are working their way up and learning. And some of them are like, I don't want to play in the stadium. I just want to learn. I'll go to the matches, but I'm just going to chant and stuff like, I'll get there. And that's great. And then we have some people that played, as long as I have, So it's pretty neat. And again, getting to use those skills, with some people that I may not have like a normal day-to-day conversation with, but it's like, oh, we can be in this space together. And yeah. It's just like, I don't know if I ever would have met these folks, amazing group of people, had it not been for Austin FC and everything. It's just crazy. Like I wouldn't give any of them up for any amount of money. Like it's
either a contract would be either I don't go, or if I go, I'm taking all of these 100 players with me.
All this, and they feel the same way, and it's that. I mean, respect is definitely part of it, but I mean, we all know we're out there to have fun, and we're just and it just translates, and it just soaks into the the newbies, and hell, people just walking their dog like from the apartments or whatever. There's like, cool, like, and then they just walk away. So
it's great, man. It's great
cool,
to hear.
Man.
You guys are building community. You guys are building passion and helping people develop their own skills, no matter what level they're from. It's awesome. And not only that, but not only has the Murga been ingrained in the Austin FC community, I think culture, they've really made a large part of that culture. So it's awesome. And one of the things that I'm interested in is kind of the intersection of music and football, how they're both important parts of our culture. Both music can soothe, it can create emotions, it can create passions. Same thing with football. We're all kind of united to that same better beat, the melodies and the goals. So why do you think music and football can have the same effects on communities?
Oh, I mean, it's the joy when you lose, the heartbreak when, the joy when you lose. It's
how many have you had, Kurt?
Man, I had too many last night, and this is the first one, and I just finally ate like right after the symphony. Please cut that out. But I was like, I read in the outline, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to drink a beer, but it's really good. Good call on that one. No, I mean, we all share in that moment. Joy of winning, the heartbreak of losing, we tied. Just like, well, like we didn't lose, but all right, like we like last night. Just thought we were gonna. All right, let's just go with the tie. I'm fine with it. Heartbreak. Anyways, it's just it's getting those communities, people that have watched football their entire lives. I mean, we have fathers and mothers with their kids and coming up to us and being like, I grew up in Argentina, and like this was me with my parents going to football. And I was just like, well, let's go see what this Austin FC thing's about. And their kids are just elated about it all. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. But then, mom or dad, whoever, is also, they're like, yeah, I know this chant, or I know that they have that sense. And then, I mean, I had a dad straight up tell me, my 14-year-old daughter doesn't want anything to do with me, but the only time we have fun is when we go to Austin FC matches and they stand not in the sports section, but they're close enough to where she can still like sing and dance, stuff like that. Yeah,
that's good.
And it's like, oh man, so that's building it where it's a fun, positive place for people to come together, but also sharing the joy of the sport and the joy of a lot of these songs are traditional and folk songs for a lot of people, and them getting to hear those songs played, and it reminds, it's like your mom's cooking, it's like it fills you up, makes you feel warm, you feel accepted immediately, and then you're like, can I hold a flag? I mean, it really happens like that. I don't know. I mean, I was talking earlier, and I was like, I think we're in a cult. I keep telling you, do you know the good word about Los Verdes? Or do you know the good word about La Murga? And again,
we're gonna bring Reverend Jimbo here.
I know, man. Oh, Jimbo. I will say this is. I wasn't gonna call out too many names, but Jimbo. from time to time, I mean, we're all got so much to do before the matches, but he'll come up to me and he'll go, "Hey man," give me a big old hug. He gives everybody big old hugs. Jimbo's amazing, but he'll go, "How you feeling today?" And yeah, honest, like he wants an honest answer. And so most times I'm like, I'm pumped, and ready to go, and I'm like, I'll get there by the time we hit the gates. You know, I'm like, I was either rushing traffic or whatever to get to Hop Squad or whatever. And that, I mean, these complete strangers 2 years ago are now like part of my world. It's nuts. And the fact that we can bring that, but not just doing Austin FC matches, where Murga's become really special, I think, is the community events and the other outreach that we've been able to do. Not only raising money for certain charities and other things like that, either locally or in Houston, but we like it's really nice to see the impact. And then my I'll say master plan or evil plan. It's not an evil plan, but I would like, eventually, Murga to have a scholarship that we give out to kids that are going to go to college, pursue music or something like that, or kids that are starting out with their first instrument. Mm-hmm. And we're like, you want to play trumpet? Rad. Here's a trumpet. We don't need anything. Like, you play. If you ever want to come play for Murga, awesome. Mm-hmm. But, because, I mean, that's getting music in kids' hands. And that is where I think long term we can really change things. I mean, of course, where we can help out and raise funds for, but the fact that we are a band and we are all about this music and all about the community, it would just be great if we're rolling at some point. We can finally get to where we can solidly make people's lives better. I want to say change life. I would say make people's lives a little bit better, and then they would get to learn music. I mean, that's fantastic.
That's an addition.
And then they have that trumpet. It's a beginner trumpet, sure. And then if they want to continue on, they get a nicer one. Mm-hmm. They give that to your little cousin.
Right.
And then that cousin's playing. You just put an instrument. Mm-hmm. That's all you had to do. It's just, it's just like football. You just put a soccer ball on the pitch. Yep. See 10 people come out of the woods you guys want to play? You guys want to play? And even they don't speak the same language. They don't there's plenty. And I'm so sorry of my abhorrent Spanish. I've practiced in the mirror for all the chance just so I know I can get them right, because I know there's going to be a camera on me at some point, and I'm going to be like, I'm not going to mess it up because I didn't want it to be like that. But I made sure I'm just and Line I'm Dying. The only reason I'm good at those is because, man, I watch people's stories, and if I catch a native speaker just rocking a pronunciation, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this chant a few times and all right, that's how it's pronounced. Oh, and I was like, oh, okay. So I try my best. I'm learning, guys.
Hey man, Duolingo, hit me up, man. I got you. No worries.
See, that'd be great. Yeah. No, that's what I need. I need proper practice. Because there's always just so much going on. But there are native speakers that we have that they do a wonderful job of speaking English. Definitely not their first language, but we played music together for 2 years. This is yeah, okay. That's rad. That maybe wouldn't have happened had we not had that. Mm-hmm. All right, I absolutely can say. Oh, I won't say absolutely, but it wasn't likely.
Probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
No, it's cool to hear, man. I love hearing all these stories of how you guys have been involved in the community. I love seeing how you guys have been supporting different teams, whether it be high school or any type of other events. Those types of things, that engagement is special because it shows Austin that La Murga is more than just a supporter group, where it's not just a supporter group for Austin FC, but it's a supporter group for the Austin community. Mm-hmm. So that's special, man. I commend you guys on that.
Oh, yeah. It's
and if there's any
not
way,
been easy, but it's been great.
If there's any way Otra por favor can support that, we're happy to. I mean, I know Richie's already involved a lot with the Murga on his end, but dude, I'm happy. I'm happy that you're here and sharing this with our listeners too.
You gotta come in the game, just get a chance to stand by the section where La Murga is playing.
Yeah,
man, it's it's a pretty different experience. I mean, it's already good when you're in the supporter section, but when you're like in that middle, you know, like in the ground, like in the like right there, you're like
Ain't nothing
yeah,
like it.
In the middle of the heartbeat.
in the middle of the
It's-
heartbeat.
It
pretty
really
much.
is. And I do. You ain't gonna get a ticket from me. I got the best seat in the house, y'all. I mean, I'm 8 or 9 rows up. I've got Surdu's here. I've got Bombos here. I've got snares in front of me. Got Dave, my PK player, killing it. And then the brass are just right up there, and our VIPs are all there. So they're singing, they're psyched, and they're high-fiving their family members or friends or whatever they're up there for. I mean, yeah, it is.
What does that feel like, being in the middle of all that energy, all the instruments, all the chants?
You can't. Yeah, I mean, it's inspiring. I can't quit. It's great. Like, there's just no option to fail, and that's actually really comforting. I see how that could be like maybe really stressful or anxious, or cause anxiety for some people, but I bathe in it. I absolutely love it. I like. I do. I say, well, I like a little bit of chaos in. No, I like the chaos. I like because it's raw and man, it sounds so good. Oh, I mean, there's a video. I know. I think someone shared it, but Peppa. I keep bringing up Peppa's, y'all. It just happened. All right, but it's not the only song we play. And I mean, I was hyped. I ended up getting a little overheated later that night, but I was hyped. And it was just that, because the brass just came in, and when we started out, they were just playing one note for the trumpets, one note for the trombones. Now they're doing these chords, and they're so good. Mm-hmm. They're doing them on the fly. Like, I'm hearing it on the broadcast. I'm like, that is just, it sounds like they're recording. It sounds so good. So, oh, man. So that's, when it all clicks, mm-hmm. and you just got it right, and then we score a goal, and then you're like, wrap it up, all right, and you're just right into it. You're like, yep, it's over. That was a cool moment. We're not living in that anymore. Now it's on to this. It's just, and then, or a beer or water just hits you in the face, something like that. We're also we're very well targeted. Right. I realized, which last weekend was very fortunate. I needed all the water, the beer showers, water showers.
It was hot.
It was so hot, and the air just died. Like the 75th minute, and it just sucked out of the stadium. And I was like, I'm not feeling so hot. So, but that we definitely get targeted. I'll see. What's great though is I can now with the snares up front, I'll see like. Gabby's going to play like that. Gabby and Colby were kind of like, they'll kind of face each other and play or whatnot. And then I just see Gabby turn just like full of water. And she just, and like, you just see all those moments and everybody's just so happy. I mean, I gave as many people as I could try to give hugs to and strangers. It's awesome. I like, oh man, y'all, this is.
There's this one picture where during Cuervos, and everybody's just doing the water thing. And I forget people's names. But he plays the trumpet. He's a CPA. He's a bald-headed. And he's pouring beer at his wife. Water at his wife.
Oh man.
She's like,
oh man. Well, that brought some confusion that day. I did see that, and I went, huh? I was like, that's okay. All right. Right on, bro. They've been married a very long time.
Yeah.
So. I can say that everybody.
She probably got him back at the end later.
I bet, yeah. I think I did see her turn. I don't know. I thought I saw her retaliate. Not in a good way. In a good way. Have she got that? That was
So they got then everybody, because it's like a frame, like a panoramic, not panoramic picture, but like a good chunk of the supporter section getting in the Murga, and everybody's reaction with the water. Everybody's reaction is completely different. Everybody's like enjoying it. Some are like this, some are like that, some are like this, some are like this.
It's like a painting.
It's like a painting. Yeah, it could be like a very good. You know what? It'll be cool to like one day frame it and have everybody's signature in it, like right where it's at. Like that was for me like a beautiful picture of, man. That's just lovely.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. Which was cool. Like everybody just kept on following with like. screenshots of everyone's reaction for a good 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Everybody had that. Yeah, became stickers. It became other. Oh yeah, I have some real good ones that people caught me on. Just some faces I make.
The hot dog.
I mean, good ones. Oh, the hot dog is. Yeah, that was on purpose. I did it to myself, and it was so good. But it wasn't. It was the Rayadas. I forgot how I played. America, right?
Águilas.
Right?
We'll talk about that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the best team in the world.
Yeah, there you go. See, already you got to educate me. Let me know. No, I think, yeah, and they didn't have, the buns weren't Verde, and that's fine. But I was like, I really wanted to get the Verde dog, and I didn't. But yeah, I did. I did my due diligence to the Adler hot dog stickers.
So there's there's in WhatsApp the Murga. You should join the Murga just for the fun of it, for the
Yep, you guys are making me want to join, man.
Dude, so there's this I think Adler started that where he was eating from a hot dog, but he's like this big ass bite.
Or he's a Austin FC scarf.
Yeah, there we go. So he's like this.
And he's just mowing it. I mean, two hands.
Like this.
Yeah, good technique.
Good technique.
Yeah.
Like whatever he's been doing, he's he came out that one time right there.
It.
And then everybody started just doing that trend like over and over and over. And it's just like now everyone posts a reaction or like a response and everybody likes it. Instead of saying, "Oh, that's good," they show a picture of him like with the hot dog.
Becomes a sticker.
It becomes a sticker,
yeah,
and then it
like
becomes a sticker.
meme.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yes.
But I would say like if you get a chance, to join La Murga Coque, you're gonna have like a good time, like just for the memes,
Dude, I know.
the responses,
Yeah, we got some funny people. It gets there's sometimes too. I'm just like, I don't need to be in this, and I'm just like, all right.
No, it's funny because I'm over here,
over.
like I'm here, like just laughing. I was like, "What are you looking at? Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm with La Murga." She's like, "Oh, dang." Like, okay. But it is funny because I mean it's all like it's pretty cool. If you ever get a chance, like it's anything you can, it'll be great. Like for you, to be part of it. But Coque actually had a pretty good, and it was a pretty cool question. Towards the reflections of the day. It was the one where you were asking about if we had to make up a team of the players.
Oh yeah. Musical ability aside.
Okay.
If you had to make a band composed of Austin FC players, who are the members and
question.
what would they play?
Oh, see now I'm using my info from the Mate con Vos. I'm like, oh wait, all right. I kind of have a little bit feeling. I know.
Yeah, there you go.
All right,
Give them
so
more personality.
All right. I will say either. Okay, let's go with. I'll start with drummer because that's obviously. I would say drummer. Ooh, okay. All right, we're gonna go. Yeah, all right. Drummer would be. I don't know why I'm going. I would say Nick Lima. I don't know why.
He has the hands, man. He got that throwing. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I know. Okay.
Nick
Bass.
Lima on drums.
Huh?
Nick Lima on drums.
Nick Lima on drums.
Okay.
Bass guitar. Stuver.
Okay.
Yeah, Shades bass. He might even do like the old school guy that sits on a stool and just like plays up here.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
But I want to say Pereira Fagundes on dual shredding lead guitars.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
With sorry, I just got a visual of this. Sorry. With
A visual of them playing or the outfits?
them back to back like doing the slug face or the guitar face. And the stank. You gotta get the stank face. You gotta know. You gotta have the. That's the most important thing. Not practicing, just the stank face. Let's see, and then I would have on keys, Drusy on keys, because he kind of like orchestrates things, right? So that's like his like role. So he's like making sure everybody's playing in time, playing the right key and stuff. So and then and this is based completely on off that show. Was I think Rudy wants to be a lead singer. I think he wants to be up there. I think he would get out the crowd. wireless mic, like
Yeah.
dance with all, all.
He was
getting
the
tips.
Eric Burton, like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
Oh, totally. Yeah, he would be the one. Yeah, he'd be like doing the risky business, like sliding into the thing, and then, like the rest of them like pop out. Like, I don't know, but like I don't know why. And that's totally based on that. Alex Ring would be their tour manager because I just feel like
Looking at contracts, making sure everybody's
scare
on-
people. Yeah,
yeah.
he would just be able to be like, "Did you put the green M&Ms in the or Verde M&Ms in the thing?" They're like, "Clearly, you didn't read our writer." And then horns, Valencia.
Okay.
I can see that.
I'll say Valencia on alto sax.
Ooh.
Cascante on baritone sax.
Ooh, yes. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that one. I like that one. Oh man, and
Say it.
Kippy's totally like the guy that has to go get all their drinks and put their towels on. I'm so sorry, bud. I think you're great. I just feel like they would do that to him.
He's
new.
working his way up.
He's new. I feel like they would do that to him. I don't know. They're all good.
Danny Pereira was like, I was there last year.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, Danny's like over it, so he's throwing his towel at him.
He's
in
a
his face.
talented guy that he can play any instrument,
Yeah.
but you have to humble them,
Yeah,
like.
he's got. Yeah, he's a water towel guy. He's like, but I know how to tune drums. He's like, no, water towels, and get our beers. And then I'm just, yeah. I would go with that. I would go, and Kip has to wear the band shirt. I don't know why I'm
Working the merge.
I know he's got to do all the oh, poor Kip. He's not even in the band.
Man,
That's tough world for him.
Stuff coming up. It's stuff coming up, man. This stuff coming up.
So was that 11? I don't know if I said. It doesn't matter.
so-
that's
No,
a good,
that's
solid band.
those are great picks, man. That's
Yeah.
Solid
awesome.
band.
Now we got who's in charge of sound?
Oh yeah,
Who's in
yeah.
charge of
That's a good call.
like tuning the guitars, making sure everything's running smoothly.
Yeah, yeah.
When they arrive, who's in charge of organizing, making sure like, all right, your time. Who's in charge of doing the set list? We got a couple more spots, so everybody will be left out.
I feel like everybody waits for Maxie to return from his trailer to announce the set list.
Okay.
Like they're like, all right. He's like, here's the set list. They're like, we're gonna go on in 2 minutes. He's like, play all the songs.
I'll take care of the rest.
I'll take care of the rest.
You put the pass and I'll score.
He's out there. He's doing all the moves. Oh, yeah. Let's get that going. Let's get that band going.
And also we got the the one that's gonna be calling the you guys are all wearing this like
Yeah.
the designer.
Oh yeah. I would say that's probably.
Oh,
yeah.
Cascante, man. He's got the style.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I had him on. Yes.
But
I had very
he's-
sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great picks, man. That's
yeah,
awesome.
That was fun. That
Who
was good.
who will be the audio?
Well, no, I liked. You said Hosen. I liked
Hosen
I like
in the
Hosen
audio?
as the
Okay,
audio
okay.
guy. Maybe Hosen would be the lights guy because there's
Audio
got to
and
be
lights.
a
Okay.
audio lights.
What about Redes? What is Redes?
Someone's got to park the tour van. Oh, I'm so sorry, buddy. Oh man, you're so young. It's gonna be okay.
Oh,
But
man.
buddy, I'm yeah. No, he. Oh
Parallel
man.
park.
We forgot three players that Gallagher.
See, I was gonna say Gallagher on trumpet or. Yeah, I would say he would be the multi instrumentalist. He would be on like trumpet, some sort of brass,
Right.
trumpet, trombone, maybe a flute occasionally.
Okay.
And then what's my? I think I know who my last one is. But who's?
We have Hector Jimenez, Comaneci.
Oh, Jimenez is the conga player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's holding down the
He's
aux
holding down the
percussion.
congas.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So you got him and Nick Lima like
Vibing.
rocking that together.
Yeah.
And then Stewart just.
Now, the security guy is gonna be Gabrielson for sure.
Oh, yeah, with a sprinkle of
And
the
Gabrielson and
other
Romagna.
Gohan. Yeah.
They can now if in case like because they can play every instrument in case like we someone gets hurt
Yeah.
then we bring him in, but that could be a good
I like
that
that.
our security guy can play an instrument.
I like that. Yeah.
I think we got who else do we need?
Oh, man.
Little Wolf.
Oh,
Oh,
Baby
he
Wolf.
would also be on tout. He would also because he's new. He's a
He's
coach's
new.
kid.
He's
Along
new,
with,
he's a
you know.
coach's
Yeah,
kid.
they honestly they would just
They'd probably be harder.
they would drive
harder on
off.
him
He would
than
be at
everybody
the
else.
truck stop and they leave him. Like it'd be like that. It would be all. Man, that was so endearing. Can we get Chipotle after it? I was like, buddy. Oh my God. That was.
And we forget Tarbell.
Oh no, Well, so yeah. Well, I guess yeah. No, well, now Tarbell's playing bass. Yeah, because
interchangeable, right?
Yeah, Sewer's he's on the mend.
The cello, sticking the cello.
Oh yeah, we could get strings. Yeah. Oh yeah, Tarbell. Yeah, he's got a little bit of the sparkle too.
There you go.
So maybe he's a strings player. I could go with that. Okay. Yeah.
I love it, man.
And anyone that we missed before we feel like we left anyone out.
Josh Wolf's just the proud parent in the crowd.
Yeah,
like my son's a part of that band, and they're like, no, he isn't.
He's going right there.
He's not even here. We left him in Tucson.
And that's good, man.
Damn, they need to make it happen, on the off season or something.
Yeah.
I would. So, because we are going to record
Murga
Volume 2.
FC collab.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there are a few players we probably could talk into, like doing a music video and just having the songs play and just have them like be silly and do
like them juggling the ball like around you.
Yeah,
something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just involved somehow.
Just like for 1 second, like, wait, was that Diego? Or
I'm pretty sure by now Duke and Javi are already thinking of what we're gonna do next with Elias.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Oh my gosh. We're not even talking. Well, this is crazy. We have a social media team. Like that team is just straight fire all the time. Everybody works so hard. I mean, Danny like really getting a plan out for us.
Danny, shout out.
Yeah, absolute a killer. Like wonderful job. I'm so happy I'm not as savvy. I'm so happy. Like we have way smarter, way more talented individuals in that area too to help out because but I mean, and just all the content and seriously, all like the shots, the photos, the videos, it's just it makes us look so cool.
Yeah,
it takes
for
us
sure.
to another level.
Yeah, it makes us look so much cooler than other Murgas that do the occasional phone video and they're like.
I'd rather
other supporter sections, not other Murgas. They definitely are killing it. I mean, other sports sections with
my point of view when it comes up to like banter and like competition. All right, get competitive. Bring up your game. Like, give me a little more than what you got. Like, you can play now. Give me more. Social media content. Give me something. Feature one of your like what Danny's been doing with the musicians.
She came up with that idea. I guess last year too. Had to be. But man, that's just gone over so well, and it's like all those like, I don't know, and that's why you can't hate Murga. Like that's the thing. Like you can hate Austin FC, but like come to a Tuesday night practice and you're gonna have a blast. Like cannot have a bad time in Murga unless you choose to. If you, then we don't want you. Like you can stay home then. But really, like, it's cool.
I love it,
man. It was a good talk, and getting to know more about like you musician, but also just you as a person. I'm grateful for that because I like being surrounded by people that want to create. They're always out there, putting that work, and for me, it's motivating because I'm like, oh man, all right, there's just 30 things to do this weekend. Let's do it.
Yeah, work 24 hours like there's somebody working 24 hours to take it away from you.
Solid advice.
It's like. Yeah, anyone that I've ever known, and that's what musicians, producers, engineers, just business exec.
I love those.
I should give me a.
I love those parting words, man, and I love what you said about embracing the chaos, not listening to that little voice in your head that tells you that you're not good enough for you.
Say, I know you're there. I don't have to listen to you.
Shake it off.
Yeah.
I love it, man, and it's been a pleasure having you, dude. And
thanks for having me, y'all.
If you have anything else that you want to plug or anything else that you want to say, please let us know.
Yeah, the new Kurt Lammers album, Model Humans, will be out on streaming May 27th, Friday, May 27th, right for Memorial Day. It's gonna be it's summer jams. Oof. It's gonna be straight up bangers.
Straight up for your pool party. Let's go.
Yeah, no, everything's above 125 BPM, so it's like.
Oh yeah, I love it, dude.
For sure, it's gonna be fast.
Humans, May 27th.
Yeah.
Kurt Lammers. It's gonna be available on what?
It'll be on all streaming. You can even add to your TikToks. You can add it to your. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm not gonna do a dance for it or anything on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. But it'll be on all the things.
Man, that's and then you also have Hey
Baby,
Baby.
And we're playing June 4th at the Far Out Lounge for a ATX Tribute Fest.
Okay.
It's going to be the 4th and the 5th. We're playing the 4th. We're a whole lot of fun. Absolutely come out. Especially if you like No Doubt in any way, we have a wonderful Gwen Stefani, who's actually named Ashley. And she's just a great performer. It's super, just energy is there and just loves No Doubt. So she sells it. And then I just feed off of her energy.
Right.
And I get to be like a character. Like there was never me in No Doubt. Like I'm basically the Jamaican guys that like play horns and play keyboards. Like I was not in that band. You know what I mean? But I get to be like this character and sing and play keys, and it's super fun. So yeah, come out to that. It's gonna. There's a Soundgarden band. There's a Rage the Machine band. There's oh my goodness.
There's a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you so much.
One last thing before we take off, I wanted to give a shout out to all the graduates out there. I know it's late May, so my little brother Fernando, congrats, and all the graduates out there. This guy's been dropping dimes, dropping wisdom out here through his hard work, his career. Please listen and we love you guys and congratulations.
Yeah.
Man, ahí nos vamos, listos verdes. Te portan bien y adiós.
Adiós.
Esto es Otra, por favor.